All right, time again for yet another geometry lesson. Today we're talking about sector areas of circles, but let's do a little review first. So let's start with number one. We're supposed to find the length of AB. So to do that, let's see, I want to use purple today. I like to set up a proportion the best. So if we think about it, we want the length of AB. Well, we got 110 out of 360 degrees here. And then we want to find what kind of portion of the circumference we have on top. So the whole circumference would go on the bottom, which remember is pi d. So diameter is 8. We'd get 8 pi. And then if we keep going, we'd have 360x equals 110 times 8 pi. So if we save pi till the end, we're going to get 880 pi. Then we divide that by 360. And we're going to get a length of 7.7. And we're in centimeters. Oops. All right, this isn't working. I better face the screen here. All right, so next is a review from 11.3. We want to find the area of ABCD, given that these two are similar. So if you notice, the ratio of the lengths is 12 to 8. Well, remember when we do areas, we got to square those. So 12 squared over 8 squared is going to equal this area, x over the other area, 24. So that would give us 8 squared, which is 64, x when we do cross product. Now let's see, we have to do some calculator math here. 12 squared times 24 is going to be 3,456. Divide that by 64. And so we're going to get 54 inches squared. So just a little review of what we've covered so far in this chapter. Today we're talking about area and area of sectors. So area of a circle is calculated by pi r squared. So pi times the radius squared. So radius of this circle, well, the diameter is 12. So that means our radius is 6. So pi 6 squared would give us 36 pi. 36 pi would be the exact answer, or approximately, because when we multiply by pi, we're going to have to round, 113.1. And our units now are centimeters squared. So since our area, our units are squared now. All right. What's the diameter of a circle that has an area of 28.27 inches cubed? So area is pi r squared. We know our area is 28.27. Okay, now I know it says find diameter, but if we find the radius, we know we can find the diameter by multiplying the radius by 2. So first we're going to divide by pi, which would give us r squared equals about 9. And then square root of 9 would give us 3. So our diameter is about 6 inches. All right, so finding area of a sector. So again, it's best to think of this proportionally. So if we wanted to find the area of this chunk here, so we're finding an area. Well, we know we got 445 out of a whole 360. And we want to find what chunk of that, let's call it x, we have out of the whole circle. So what we want to do is find the whole entire area and put it here. So that would be pi r squared. So r is 4, our radius squared would be 16. So pi r squared gives us 16 pi. And then just like before, we would get 360x equals, let's see, 16 times 45 would be 720, I believe, pi. And then we're going to divide by 360. Oops. And we're going to get about 6.28 centimeters squared. So that's kind of how you do it, which brings us to this next theorem. It says find the area of a sector. You take the degrees you have over 360 times the area, times pi r squared. And that'll give you the area of this sector here. If you're wondering why that works, because you look at the last page, oh, you did a proportion. But what happened was we ended up taking this 45 over 360 and multiplying it by 16 pi. You get the same exact answer, because that would leave us with the x. So your measure of your arc divided by 360 times pi r squared. So let's see here. What we want to do for this problem, if we follow the theorem, so measure of the arc. So a measure of our arc is 160 over 360, it says, times pi r squared. R is 3. So it's simple. Take 160 in your calculator, divide by 360, and then times it by pi, and then times that by 9. So here you'd get an answer of about 12.57. And we are inches squared. So pretty simple. Take the degrees, divide it by the total of degrees, which is always 360, times the total area. Oh, excuse me, I'm getting tired again. Area of this shaded region here. So here we actually have a total of 80 and another 80. So that would actually give us 160 out of 360. And then it's times pi r squared. So pi 8 squared. So plug it in again. And this time, I'm going to get 89.36 inches squared. You know, one thing you can do in these videos too is if you want to try for yourself, or pause it, try for yourself, get an answer, and then hit play, see if you did it right. Okay, if you did it wrong, you'll see hopefully where you went wrong. So that's something you can do to kind of help figure this stuff out. All right, finding this shaded region here, well, it's a subtraction, right? We got to find the green, so we start out with the big box. So that area, 14 times 10 equals 140. And then we're going to have to subtract the white area. So the white area, we got this rectangle is 7 times 3 for 21, just for the rectangle here. But then we need to find this little half circle. So we got to find half the area of a whole circle. Well, the whole circle would be pi r squared. Well, the radius is going to be 1.5. And then we're going to have to divide that by 2 because it's half of it. So let's see, 1.5 squared times pi, and then divided by 2. So this red chunk is about 3.5. So add them up together. 21 plus 3.5 is 24.5 for a total shaded area of 100 and 15.5. Ta-da! All right, one more, and this one will get a little trickier. So now we know the area of the sector, this gray part here. We want to find the area of the entire circle. So there's a couple ways you could do it. You could use that same equation we've been using, right? So we have 240 out of 360 times the area, which, well, we don't know. We want to find that out. So we'll just call it x. Equals our region, so 75.4. So you just take 75.4 and divide it by this whole thing in parentheses. So 75.4 divided by parentheses 240 divided by 360. And you would get 113.1 inches squared. You could also make a proportion out of it, right? So the other way to do it would be to take, well, we got 240 out of 360. And we have 75.4 out of the whole area. You could solve it that way. You'll still end up with the same answer there. So it kind of just depends on how you prefer to do it. All right, so that's area of a circle and sector area. So, when you're working on your assignment, you forget how to do something, have the video up so you can go rewind that problem and figure it out, okay? Use your resources. Make sure you're using this theorem that you wrote down. All right, so here's your lesson. I'm making this in advance, so I'm guessing this lesson will be for, let's see, Thursday, April, whatever the day before Good Friday is. So it looks like you would have a 4-day break if that's the case. So yeah, get this assignment done right away and then enjoy your little break if you're indeed watching this the day before Easter break. And have a good weekend. Thank you.